Welcome back to another Tuesday Talk. And with everything that we have going on, I thought the perfect Tuesday Talk would be to talk about emotions and feelings. Uh, right now, as a manager or as a supervisor, um, as a parent or as a brother, as a sister, anyone as a leader, the way you explain how things are happening and the way things are happening is so important um, during a time like this. It's critical, if you will. So I talked about earlier in Snapchat just the emotions of things and how your emotion builds up and what's going on. And I think we kind of forget this is something that we have to, if you will, when explaining to others, take the emotion out of it. And I struggle with this more than anyone because you just think so much of how the next person is feeling. You put yourself in their shoes, and you think how you would be feeling. You take time to write down and plan out like how you're gonna say things, and then they say one thing that triggers something for you from your past, and you're like, there's so much emotion involved in it out of nowhere. And honestly, as a leader, you have to understand it's not about being inconsiderate. It's not about being uh, not insightful or not thoughtful of the next person. When I say take the emotion out of it, it's literally what you need to do day in and day out to make decisions. You have to take the emotion out of your decision. And the reason for that is because there has to be a steady course for people to follow. And we add emotion to things that necessarily never required emotion. I was listening to a Jay Shetty podcast, and I want to say he was interviewing Deepak Chopra, and I probably messed up his name, but he was talking about the glass half empty or the glass half full. And he said during his time as a monk, literally what they told him to think of it as, just the glass. And to me, that meant so much to me right away because we're always talking about the glass half full or the glass half empty, like good, bad. What happens if literally when things happen, it just is what it is? What happens if you make decisions based off of the circumstances instead of how you feel in the situation? And if you could be a more consistent leader and a better observer of things, if you looked at things as they were instead of worrying about how they appear to you, how they appear to others, and how they appear to people close to you. That's when I realized for me that taking the emotion out of the situation is so important. Doesn't mean that I'm saying don't have emotions. Doesn't mean that I'm saying not to have feelings. Doesn't mean I'm saying not to be empathetic. It means when you look at a situation, are you adding more than what needs to be by putting in your own feelings into your situation? And I think if you really think about it, we do that constantly. Even in parenting, if you've had a rough day, a lot of times every parent will tell you who's been a veteran in it, don't go talk to your kid right away because whatever you went through that day comes out on your child when you're talking to them. Because you're not trying to beat your kid, you're trying to provide life lessons. And you can't do that if you're emotional during it. So you have to take the emotion out of your situation. I'm glad that I'm able to share this with you and look into it because it really is something that is difficult to think about. It is something that will take time to understand. Every day, right now, with the coronavirus going on, every day with the economy being different, every day I'm facing people and telling them, today you'll come in, tomorrow you may not. Today we're going to do this, but tomorrow you may not even be with us anymore. And I realize that me being as even keel and consistent as possible helps them with the situation. But if I give them selfishly my emotions towards the situation, then now I heighten them and I can make them feel different or worse than they already were. So I say that to tell you it's just important for you to understand being able to be consistent and to not put emotion into certain circumstances is vital to our everyday life. When you make a decision for your family to steer them a certain way, no emotion goes into it. It's clear cut what you have to do. You lay out a plan, you execute it. That's what we have to do consistently right now during this time, is we have to get out a plan, lay it out within your tribe, within your village, within your families, and you have to handle it and take care of it. So thank you very much for this little bit of time. I know right now you guys are spending time with each other, talking to each other, enjoying the different videos and Facebook and social media that takes us away from it all. But remember, at the end of the day, we still have to make sure to make conscious, critical decisions of what we're going to do for our families. Thank you for following me on Flip Culture XIV, True Visionary XIV on Instagram. Snapchat is True Visionary XIV as well. I hope you guys have a good evening, and thank you for tuning in to this Tuesday Talk.